I'm going to review this sample literature review in this video so that you understand how to move from your matrix synthesis table to writing your paper and understanding how it should look and what you do with those trends or themes that I asked you to come up with in that table. Okay, so this particular paper reviews is looking at the question of what are researchers studying about the impact of pet ownership on individuals with autism. So, your title page is going to look like this, and I will go over this more next week when you're actually writing the paper, but I will cover it now. So, you're going to have your page number starting on the title page, and it'll just be a number, no last name. Next, you'll have the title of your paper about 2 inches down. It will be bolded and centered. You'll skip a line. This will be double spaced, and this right here has got the extra space. Your name, your institution, the class name, your instructor name, and your date. Okay, so you will start your paper on the next page. Um, because you have all of this information on the title page, you do not have that information up in the upper left corner as you did with your MLA style paper. All right. So you're going to open up with the title of the paper. You won't have the word introduction. Although this is the introduction, you're going to proceed with the title of your paper. So your introduction will be roughly a paragraph long. In this introduction, you want to explain the significance of your particular topic. Why did you choose it? Why is it important to study? Kind of really present what we need to know about the importance of your topic, your research question. You will conclude your introduction that again sort of summarizes the importance of your topic. That introduction could also explain any terminology that would be important, but your thesis statement is really more of a purpose statement. It's going to be very sort of direct compared to your MLA styled writing that you did in the last paper. Most of you will write a thesis statement that looks like this. Let me go ahead and actually highlight it. Okay. You will be very direct and say this literature review or this review synthesizes current research findings regarding the influence of companion animals on individuals with autism and their families. That was your topic. Okay. With particular attention to the mechanisms through which these relationships may support social development and family well being. Okay. So you're going to tell me what your basically what your categories are, your themes are. You might have written this statement um, with something like this literature review synthesizes current findings regarding the influence of companion animals on individuals with autism and their families, with particular attention to social skills development and pro social behavior, family dynamics and parental well being, and the quality of human animal relationships. So, your purpose or your thesis statement is going to basically name your three categories. Um, that's what I suggest to make it easier for you. Okay, so then you will put a level one heading, which is this is a level one heading. This right here is a level one heading. It's centered and it's bolded. Your first category will go in this particular space, centered, and then you will write about the research that you discovered, this comes from your synthesis and matrix table. So you're going to now discuss how this particular theme was reviewed or was researched, was reported on in your studies. So if we read out loud, the development of social skills among individuals with autism appear to be positively influenced by pet ownership. So this is sort of a general topic sentence. So you're going to make a general statement about that particular theme. Now, you've got to go and tell me what your various studies said about that theme. Carlisle, 2015, conducted a telephone survey of parents of telephone survey of 70 parents of children with ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and found that children who own dogs demonstrated higher social skills on the Social Skills Improvement System rating scale. This finding was particularly notable in the assertion subscale for children who own any type of pet. Okay, so that's a first study you talked about. Next, you're going to include the next one that discussed this category. Supporting these findings, Grandgeorge et al., 2012, observed specific improvements in prosocial behaviors among individuals with autism following the arrival of a pet after age 5, specifically in areas of offering to share and offering comfort. All right. So now you're going to move to a different study. The relationship between pets and social development appears to extend into adulthood. So you can see what the student does. They talk about childhood. Now, how does it affect adults? Atherton et al., 2023, found that while autistic adults were equally attached to their pets as neurotypical individuals, they often used pet relationships as a compensatory mechanism for social contact. This suggests that the social benefits of pet ownership may persist throughout the lifespan for individuals with autism. So, you talk about each of the different studies that covered this topic. You're sticking with this topic right here. Now you can synthesize it all and make some sort of general statement at the end. Collectively, these studies indicate a consistent pattern of enhanced social engagement and prosocial behavior associated with pet ownership across different age groups within the autism spectrum. The research suggests that the presence of pets may create opportunities for developing and practicing social skills in a low pressure environment, potentially serving as a bridge to broader social interaction. So, this is your overview that you learned that all of the studies dealt with when it comes to this category. Now, you're going to move to your next topic. You do not really need to transition because you've got a level 1 heading talking about your next topic, which is family dynamics and parental well-being. So you're going to launch into this first little bit. You're going to explain that topic. Research has revealed significant impacts of pet ownership on family systems and parental stress levels. Carlisle et al., 2020. Note we introduced the topic, this subtopic here, and we're going to talk about what this first study says about family dynamics and parental well-being. Then we're going to say what the second study that dealt with family dynamics and parental well-being had to say about it. Then we're going to synthesize. Then we do our third topic. Again, you do not need to transition because this does it for you. You got your level 1 heading, quality of relationship between individuals with autism and their pets to be a crucial factor in determining outcomes. That's your little explanation. You're going to launch into your first study, your second study, you have a third study, and here's your synthesis paragraph. Okay. So every section of your paper is going to get their little discussion. Why is this important? Talk about study, 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 synthesis. Study, 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 synthesis. And you will continue that until your conclusion. Now, your conclusion is going to do something a little bit different. So, you want to wrap up. So, while existing research demonstrates the benefits of pet ownership, so you're going back to what you said you were looking for, several gaps in the literature remain. Here's where you discuss your what needs to still happen. This is the little gap that you, if you were a researcher or a student, you might actually do a study on this. Future research should examine the long-term impacts of pet ownership on social skill development and mental health outcomes, particularly through longitudinal studies. And here's another thing where more research is needed. So that is where you're going to deal with that in your conclusion. And then finally, all your references. Okay. All right. Um, I'll get into more of this in terms of uh, like Wednesday, really going over your outline. What I really want you to do this first half of this week is read this paper carefully and think about how the paper is organized.